Every European city has its postcard places, the cathedrals, castles, and cobblestones that everyone comes to see. But hidden just beyond the guidebook pages are museums that most travelers never find, small, unusual, fun, and fascinating. This journey is about those places, the ones built from curiosity, creativity, and sometimes a touch of madness. Today, we'll wander to some weird and wonderful museums, and then explore the cities that they're in. We'll start in the heart of Zagreb, very close to St. Mark's Church, where the Museum of Broken Relationships turns heartbreak into art. Each exhibit is a personal relic of love lost, a shoe, a letter, a belt. Each is accompanied by raw, anonymous stories from around the world. The museum's most iconic piece, the X-axe, used to destroy a lover's furniture, embodies the pain and absurdity of heartbreak. Roam the minimalist galleries, connecting through shared emotion and a touch of humor. While in Zagreb, stroll through Ban Jelačić Square, where trams glide by elegant Austro-Hungarian facades. From there, climb the Lotuščak Tower to hear its cannon fire at noon, a centuries-old tradition. Take in sweeping views of the red rooftops below. Head to the upper town's cafe terraces that invite you to marvel at this beautiful city. Hidden in the coastal village of Boscastle, Cornwall, the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic invites you into Britain's early mysterious world of the occult. This intriguing museum holds one of the world's most extensive collections of witchcraft objects. You'll see spellbooks, charms, poppets, and ritual tools used across centuries. See items belonging to local witches such as Alex Sanders, known as the King of Witches, and Audrey Harvey. Take in the folklore-rich presentations on sea witches and protection magic, and give yourself some extra time to chat with the staff. They're passionate experts who love sharing the legends behind the installations. Afterward, visit Boscastle's harbor, where the sea crashes against rugged cliffs, and then the nearby waterfalls of St. Nectan's Glen. Next, hike the southwest coast path toward Tintagel Castle, the birthplace of the King Arthur lore. Since you'll be in Cornwall, pause at a tea room for Cornish cream and scones, and listen to the quiet rhythm of the tides. Edinburgh's Surgeons' Hall museums turned the city's grisly medical past into a riveting journey through human anatomy and discovery. Established in 1832, it's one of the world's oldest medical museums. Inside, you'll find preserved specimens, surgical instruments, and stories that blur the line between horror and history. Take the free tour if available. The museum's most infamous item is the pocketbook made from the skin of murderer William Burke, who sold bodies for dissection. Once you've had your fill of science and spines, explore Edinburgh's old-world appeal. Mosey along the Royal Mile, weaving through its narrow side streets and hidden courtyards, until you reach Edinburgh Castle atop Castle Rock. A place of royal coronations and legendary battles, the castle offers a truly immersive glimpse into the centuries that shaped Scotland's identity. Don't miss Holyrood Palace, the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland. There's lots to see in Edinburgh. In London, grandeur is easy to find: palaces, galleries, royal guards. But between the crown jewels and clock towers lies another London, one stitched together by eccentric passions and preserved curiosities. Start in Southwark, beneath the shadow of the Shard, and head to the old Operating Theatre Museum in Herb Garret. Hidden in the attic of an 18th-century church, this museum is Europe's oldest surviving surgical theatre, accessed via a narrow spiral staircase, an experience in itself. It's a place where Victorian students once watched operations performed without anesthesia. The original wooden operating table, worn smooth over time, is the star artifact. Next, head to London's Cartoon Museum, where political satire and British humor leap off the page in frames and caricatures that trace the nation's unique character through time. With over 6,000 original cartoons and comics, the museum celebrates the art of the subversive punchline and invites you to think about how ink and wit have quietly shaped Britain's identity. A short walk away, the Clink Prison Museum lets you step into one of London's oldest jails, the original prison on Bankside, active since 1144. The stones still echo with the weight of medieval justice, debtors, heretics, and rebels whose lives unfolded in these claustrophobic cells. Then there's Handel and Hendrix, where two musical legends separated by 200 years share one address on Brook Street. At number 25 you enter the home of Baroque composer George Friedrich Handel, and next door you climb to the flat where rock guitar icon Jimi Hendrix lived in the late 1960s. Their instruments, rooms, and raw creative energy linger in the walls. And for a touch of literary play, the Sherlock Holmes Museum at 221B Baker Street brings fiction to vivid life. Step into the Georgian townhouse restored to Holmes's era. Observe the detective's armchair, his chemical corner, and the preserved air of mystery, pipe smoke included. Feel yourself drawn into the timeless world of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. In a city famed for its pomp, these museums whisper the real stories, intimate, eccentric, and endlessly human. Reykjavík's Icelandic Phallological Museum is unapologetically one of a kind, a whole museum dedicated to the study of penises. With over 200 specimens from land and sea mammals, including whales and seals, it's both scientific and tongue-in-cheek. Expect to spend about an hour exploring, laughing, and learning. The star attraction is the enormous blue whale specimen, over 5 feet long. You'll also find mythological samples said to come from elves and trolls, nodding to Iceland's mythology. Be sure to soak in Reykjavík's easygoing charm. Visit Hallgrímskirkja Church for panoramic views, walk along the old harbor, where fishing boats rock gently, and admire the Laugavegur district, lined with art galleries and cozy cafes. End your day soaking in one of Iceland's geothermal pools such as the Blue Lagoon or the Sky Lagoon. This quirky stop reminds travelers that even science can be a bit cheeky. Still in Iceland but moving to the remote Westfjords, the Museum of Icelandic Sorcery and Witchcraft looks at the country's dark and mystical past. Its eerie but fascinating displays reveal ancient magical symbols, grimoires or magic books, and the chilling legacy of 17th-century witch trials, sometimes by drowning. The museum's most notorious article is the Nabrok, or necropants, said to grant wealth if made from a dead man's skin. After absorbing the dark mysteries of Icelandic witchcraft, step outside to a landscape that feels otherworldly. Hólmavík sits quietly by the fjord, where mountains rise like sleeping giants. If you're lucky, you might spot a whale breaking the surface. Visit the nearby Drangsnes hot pools, and tour the dramatic cliffs of Strandir. In Hólmavík, enchantment isn't confined to spells and runes, but woven into the land itself. In Italy, Palermo's Antonio Pasqualino Puppet Museum celebrates the originality of the Opera dei Pupi, Sicily's beloved puppet theater tradition. Inside, you'll find hundreds of handcrafted marionettes, ornate backdrops, and stories of knights, kings, and dragons that once enthralled Sicilian audiences. Spend some time wandering among these wooden heroes. The museum's most famous figures are Orlando and Ronaldo, star medieval knights. The museum often hosts live performances that bring the puppets to life in true Sicilian flair. After the museum, delve into Palermo's rich heritage. See the glittering mosaics of the Palatine Chapel and stroll through the Ballarò Market, where you'll want to taste a fresh arancina or cannolo. Then step into the sun-drenched Piazza Marina, where market stalls overflow with citrus and song. The city feels like theater, a reminder that art and folklore are still very much alive in southern Italy. In the heart of Prague's Old Town sits one of Europe's most provocative museums, the Sex Machines Museum. Playful yet educational, it examines human sexuality through more than 200 devices, from antique contraptions to modern curiosities. The museum is all about history and design, not shock value. You'll probably find something that will make you laugh out loud, or stare at in disbelief. Afterward, walk over to the Old Town Square, where the astronomical clock still performs its hourly spectacle. Cross the Charles Bridge, where musicians and painters fill the air with life. See the Prague Castle, a UNESCO site dating to around 880, one of the most important cultural institutions in Czechia. Then, stop for a cup of rich hot chocolate or a pint of distinguished Czech lager and watch the world drift by. Prague is a city that feels like it's straight from a fairy tale. Vienna's Clock Museum is a hidden gem tucked in the city's historic center, celebrating the artistry of timekeeping. With over 700 clocks, from medieval tower mechanisms to delicate pocket watches, it's a mesmerizing blend of engineering and beauty. Enjoy the rhythm of moving through the softly ticking rooms. Time your visit to the top of the hour to hear dozens of clocks chime in unison. It's a delightful musical moment. The showpiece is a 1790 astronomical clock that tracks celestial movements with intricate precision. When you step back outside, let the epic tale of Vienna unfold as you walk its elegant streets. See St. Stephen's Cathedral, and then head to Josefplatz, where horse-drawn carriages still clip by Baroque palaces. Don't miss the Ringstrasse, where you must experience Vienna's celebrated coffee culture and enjoy an amazing Viennese treat. Look around, and count the number of drinking fountains that you see. Each is a treasure. Enjoy your time in this charming city, where the Clock Museum reminds us that in Vienna, even timekeeping becomes an art form. They say all of Paris is a museum, and it's true. But if you've already checked the Louvre and d'Orsay off your list, or simply want to skip the ticket queues, Paris has a world of smaller museums that reveal its soul in unexpected ways. Start beneath the streets at the Paris Sewer Museum, an underground maze showcasing the city's 19th-century engineering marvel. Walk beside real flowing water through stone tunnels that mirror the boulevards above. Exhibits trace the evolution from medieval cesspits to today's modern hydraulic network. The museum's most notable relic is the enormous iron ball once used to clean pipes. Back in the sunlight, art takes on fresh forms. Wander through the Musée de la Sculpture en plein air, a free open-air park along the Seine filled with contemporary sculptures by international artists. It's uncrowded and quietly magnificent. For something darker, descend into the catacombs of Paris, where the bones of 6 million Parisians rest in eerie geometric patterns, a haunting counterpart to the city above. Then, switch gears. The whimsical Dali Paris in Montmartre celebrates surrealism with melting clocks and radiant imagination. Finish at the Musée des Arts Forains, a captivating carnival museum of antique carousels and fairground games, a joyous reminder that wonder is timeless. From the strange to the spectacular, these smaller spots prove that Paris still has plenty of surprises tucked between its illustrious landmarks. In the end, travel isn't about how many monuments we've seen, it's about how deeply we've connected. They're proof that culture isn't confined to grand halls, it lives everywhere. And sometimes, the best souvenir isn't something you buy, it's the feeling that you've truly discovered something. Thanks for joining us in this tour of unique, peculiar and wacky museums in Europe. Be sure to like, subscribe and share this video with others who enjoy seeing something a bit different. See you in the next Travel Top 10 video, where we'll explore other thematic travel journeys.